Good day, students. Good day, viewers. Welcome you to this special exercise of trying to reveal to you, trying to show you some very, very important aspect of your preparation for Jamb, economics specifically. It's very important that as you prepare for Jamb exams, you should be able to have this information. If not yet, try to update yourself with some relevant aspects of preparation that will enhance your chances of success in this exam. And so I present to you the most repeated topics in Jamb economics. So I want you to pay attention. I will give you these topics and I'll give you a little brief about them. And Jamb will always do their best to make sure that they get relevant questions from these topics, because they are unavoidable. They form the bedrock of your tests for this exam. So it is very important that you identify them, grow yourself into them, immerse yourself into the knowledge of these topics, so that no matter how the questions are constructed in these topics, from these topics, you have the better chance of getting your answers correctly if you know them. So that's why we have to help you on this. So out of these topics, if you're able to read them properly, digest them properly, I'm sure that your success is more guaranteed than not, because from all these topics I'm going to give to you, Jamb every year must find a way to get questions from them. So it will help you to prepare much better. Even though you have some other questions or some other topics come in and out, but this is the bedrock of most Jamb questions in WAEC. So they will call them the most repeated topics in Jamb economics to date. Okay, number one, in no particular order though, we talk about the factors of production and their theories. Okay, these refers to factors of production which include land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Theories like the laws of diminishing returns and marginal productivity. Theory explains the role in production. So if you can try your best to digest this thing, because these are some one of common topics that you must have learned even from your junior secondary to senior secondary. These are common topics from business studies into commerce and then economics as well. These topics are relevant, this particular one, so it shouldn't be a problem for you answering any kind of question that comes from there. All right, so number two is international organizations. These are institutions that promote international cooperations and address global issues, such as the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, IMF, UNCTD, and so on. All right. So these, if you just try your best to know, they have common features, common characteristics, common aims and objectives. Just try to separate one unique one from each other, and the rest will interfere with themselves. So this is what I'm trying to make you understand. So if you are reading international organizations, try your best to be able to pick out the striking difference between each of them. But in general, they have similarities in the objectives, in their nature of operation. So, but this is another one. Number three is balance of trade and balance of payments. All right. So balance of trade, it shows the difference between a country's export and imports of goods and services. So the balance of trade, just goods, all right. So this is what the difference between a country's exports and imports of goods only, visible trade. Okay. You talk about balance of payments, it includes trade balance, capital flows, and financial transactions. It represents the difference between a country's receipt for export and payment for import over a set time. This makes it what? A balance of trade. So if you do well to read more, to extract basic information about these subtopics of balance of trade and payment, I think also wherever the question is coming from, however it is twisted, you have a better chance of giving or picking the right option as an economic student who have done his job or her job in studying. Number four is business organizations. Like I said, in no particular order, but I'm reading out according to how I want you to look at it. Number four is types, business organization, that is, types include sole proprietorship, partnership, corporations, which are government-owned businesses, cooperative societies, joint stock companies, etc. These are the things that makes up what? Business organizations. So you can also see here they have similar features, all right, but there are also some striking difference between one and the other. So try your best to know the common features and as well as the different features of each one particularly. That will help you have a good grasp of the topics. When you see them in question, you'll be able to pick out your answers correctly, analyze also correctly. Then study population as well. So the population is another one, which if you have the time to study, though it's a little bit wide, but questions from it are very easy to understand and answer. So you study population growth in population as a topic, you study distribution, you study demographic trends in population, that is population distribution, age, sex, and the rest, okay, in distribution of population. So try your best to place your hands and study materials that concerns these subtopics, get acquainted to them, and try to check up past questions that will help you understand more as well. Then the next one we have here is public finance. And public finance deals with government revenue, expenditure, and fiscal policies. These are the areas that it has to, even budget, okay? It has to do with budget, public debt, and the rest of them. So these topics and subtopics makes up what? Public finance. So try your best as you study each one. Make sure you also try to take up questions, check for questions that relates to these topics and get used to them. They are repeated in various forms and degree of difficulty. So find a way to also understand and decode what they want from you in each of these subtopics of public finance. It deals with fiscal policy, expenditure, revenue generation, budget, national debt, and so on, okay? So try the best you can to study this as well as a topic that must always come in Jamb exams. Economic growth is another one. Economic growth and development. Economic growth refers to an increase in a country's output, aggregate output. Whenever there's an observed increase in aggregate output of a nation, they have attained what? Economic growth. While development includes improvement in living standards, education, and the health, etc. Whenever there's an improvement in living standard or per capita income of a nation, you can say that what? There's economic development. So these are the areas for economic growth and development that you should focus sincerely on. Also check up questions on that. Of course, when you access this our app, the ExamGuide app, it has a lot of topical questions you can actually use. So I encourage you to use it more often and test yourself. It will help you improve your preparation. Now I have public finance. Okay, I mentioned that. We have financial institutions as another one. Various financial institutions that operate in the economy are used as also a point of testing your knowledge. We have banks as one of them. We have stock exchanges as one of them. We have insurance companies. These also facilitate financial transactions. All of them and so on facilitates what? Financial transactions in an economy. Without them, there will be some level of difficulty or backwardness in economic activities. They are the engine that's facilitate the easy flow and free flow of financial activities in an economy. They lubricate the fabrics and the system of financial transactions in an economy. So if you also try to extensively study on them, I'm sure that any question you see on it in Jamb will also be easy for you to answer. Like I always say, our app is very, very useful for these topics. They are topical questions that you can use to test yourself on this and prepare for the Jamb. Now, the other one is money and inflation. Money and inflation. Now, money serves as a medium of exchange, a store of value, and a unit of accounts. Inflation, in the other hand, is a sustained increase in general price level. There are two opposites existing. They are inversely related, right? When population sets in, money loses value. And when inflation sets in, money loses value, and when it decreases, money gains value. So they are inversely related. Okay, so just try to understand them, and it will help you as well. National income is the next one we have. National income. It measures a country's total income in terms of the GDP, GNP, and all the concepts of national income used. Right? Disposable income, per capita income, and so on. All right. So there are many topics in national income that you also need to know. There are also methods of measuring them. You have the expenditure method, the income method, and the product method. All right, so this is also another important topic you must not avoid to study when you are preparing for Jamb economics. Then we're talking about market structure, the next one. The types of market structure include perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic competition. These are the 4 basic. But there are other sub-1 which talks about duopoly, you talk about monopsony, oligopsony, and monopolistic competition. So these are the types of market structure that will help you. When you know them, there's not too much trouble here, because actually you have 2 major types of market structure, which is perfect and imperfect, all right? So the rest are imperfect, while perfect market stands alone. So the rest of them have similar characteristics. Talk about monopoly, talk about oligopoly, duopoly, monopolistic competition. They have similarities in their features, so it will be difficult for you to pick out and answer questions that concerns them. So perfect market is another one on its own, separately different from the rest of the imperfect market. So you can look at it from that angle. Then you have theory of cost and revenue. Theory of cost and revenue. This theory of cost and revenue analyzes production costs and revenue generated from production, from goods produced and sold. So you can imagine this is actually a business aspect of activities. You produce and then you sell. What does it cost to produce it? You check it from the cost concept that you have. You have the 5 cost concept, which are what? You have the total cost, the fixed cost, the variable cost, the average cost, and the marginal cost. These are the basic cost concept that will help you understand much about cost theory. And the other ones comes like opportunity cost, the real cost, implicit and explicit cost. These are other costs that you must also know, because they form part of what Jamb uses to test you on cost theory as well as revenue. We have 3 revenue concepts, which includes total revenue, average, and marginal revenue. So how to calculate them are easy ways to help you prepare for Jamb on this issue of economics Jamb preparation. And the next one here is what is called theory of production. Theory of production also is an unavoidable topic because it features regularly in Jamb questions. You will always see them. This focuses on factors influencing production efficiency. Factors influencing production efficiency. Talking about productivity, what's the effort of human to produce a particular output given the amount of output in a given period of time, all right, and as well as the average product, total and marginal product functions as well, or concepts. So if you understand them very well, it will help you to also answer questions of production as well. Also extend it to PPC, production possibility curve, all right, the areas in the curve that tells you the areas of attainability but wastage in production, which is below the curve. On the curve, you have the line of efficiency, which is where you have optimal level of production, the highest possible maximum outcome you can get from mixing 2 products, as well as the area of unattainability, which means it is caused by what? Scarcity. So this knowledge will influence your ability to pass Jamb very well. You also have the theory of price determination. Wow, these are topics that are regular and unavoidable in your days in secondary school. So you should be able to just try your best to go through them regularly with questions. Theory of price determination examines how prices are set in markets. All right, it examines what? How prices are set in the market. And we have two major types of determinants of price. We have the price system or the price mechanism, which is from the aspect of the perfect market. All right, price mechanism and price system are the system that determines price in the perfect market. It tells you that what? The interaction between demand and supply at equilibrium point determines what the market's price will be and the equilibrium quantity will be. So that at that point, the sellers and the buyers are willing and agreement to buy and sell at a particular price and at a quantity in the market. Also, the second one here in price determination is the government aspect, where government is involved in setting price. Here, the government uses what we call price control or price legislation. Either of these two names are the same thing. The way the government also determines prices. So here, the government can use what we call either the minimum price control or the maximum price control. In other words, you can say minimum price also called as what? Price floor, or maximum price also called what? Price ceiling. Here, these two aspects of price control system by the government is used to protect either the consumer or the producer. When you say there's a price ceiling, the price ceiling stops the producer from selling above a particular price that is below the equilibrium price, so that consumers can be able to buy and pay for them. We talk about price floor. Price floor is used to protect the farmers or producers of essential goods mostly, so that they'll be able to produce and make profit from what they're producing and not run out of revenue because they're trying to produce. So these are the reasons why government use this various price mechanism or price control system to determine price, so that the market can be what? Efficient enough to make production continue and the economy to go on very well. Now, the next one we have is theory of supply. Theory of supply also is there. It describes the relationship between price and quantity supplied, as well as that of demand, which also describes the relationship between price and quantity what? Demanded. So yes, it's an issue, it's a topic that must be put at heart. In fact, this also is another most common and unavoidable topic that you have to know. If you call yourself an economics student and you don't know about supply and demand, then I don't know what you're studying, but truly, you may still have problem. But when you have chance and you prepare for these topics, it's very extensive in nature. This particular one, supply and demand, are very extensive. They go as far as elasticity, they go as far as a change in demand, as far as, these are the areas. So we get several topics that comes out of demand and supply. But that is what you should know. So no matter how the question is asked, you should know that the basics are still your roots to answering the most difficult question in Jamb concerning this. When you know the types of demand, the types of supply, what happens when supply and demand changes and price also changes. When you have this in your heart, in your head, I think the question of demand and supply in Jamb will be a child's play for you. You'll be able to answer it properly well. Then you have theory of consumer behavior. Of course, the major reason why we study economics is because economics is what? It's a social science, and it studies what? Human behavior. So yes, this is one of the bedrock of economic studies, human behavior. Studies here, it studies how consumers make choices based on preferences and budgets. How consumers make choices based on preferences and budget of the consumer. So it tells you that, okay, how they use the meager resources they have to try to meet the several desires of their hearts, so that they can actually become more satisfied in doing so. That's the basic of the idea behind consumer behavior theory. The next one we have is method and tools of economic analysis. Yes, method and tools of economic analysis. This topic includes concepts like marginal analysis. Yes, we talk about marginal product, marginal cost, marginal revenue, marginal utility, the marginal analysis, right? Yes, it cuts across many subtopics in economics. You talk about elasticities as well, right? It helps you to understand the degree of response of demand and supply when factors that affect them changes. So you know that as well, to know how to make analysis and how to make choices when you have meager resources as well. You talk about statistical techniques, calculations in economics, all right? It helps you to know how to come to a conclusion with figures that we use to make decisions in economic analysis. So I also have the next one is called, that's number 18 now, we have theory of demand. Of course, we mentioned it earlier on. It explores consumer demand for goods and services and the relationship between prices and quantity of goods what demanded, all right? That's what it's talking about. Then you have economic system, all right? This is another topic that you will always see in demand, in Jamb economics questions, all right? Here, it assesses the different types of systems, that is the capitalism, socialist system, and the mixed economy. Here, it shows us how an economy tries to allocate resources based on the kind of system that's applicable, who owns the productive resources in a particular economy. Is it capitalism, is it socialist system, or is it mixed? It shows you who has the power to allocate productive resources in an economy. So with this basic understanding of this topic, I'm sure that you go a long way in trying to deepen your knowledge in them. And then the last but not the least, which I know is not exhaustive though, but these are the most regular that I know. Talking about elasticity that I mentioned earlier on. It measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded and supplied to price changes or to factor changes. So please, as much as I've given you this, I know there are other topics too that may come, but these are the bedrock or basic topics that Jamb will always go for to extract technical questions from and might throw you off balance. Though not exhaustive, but these are the most regular. Okay, so I pray that as you try doing this, you have the wherewithal, the knowledge, understanding to grasp these topics, and they are very, very basic concepts. So remember to dive deeper into each topic for a comprehensive understanding.